into that roster, it feels like you now have, like, not to do Shanks dirty, but I think Shanks was very clearly kind of the lower denominator on that team. So I'm glad to see that we got Mo coming in, hopefully stepping up in these team fights. We are going to be taking a look at the pick and ban on the bottom side of the screen, though.
Oh, we do get a collie for Mole, though, straight off the bat. It could be going up towards top side. We'll see how those all pick out there. But Syndra, Gwen, anything Kindred, probably another thing that pops out for me. But looking at these very quickly, I'm going to keep talking so you have a little bit more time to gather your thoughts about it. What strikes you as the biggest thing here?
So I think we've kind of got two compositions that both spike relatively well around the early game. The big one for me, at least for WE, is that Rumble hard outperforms Kindred in these early stages. Kindred, not a champion that can very quickly clear through that jungle, so I expect to see Beishang having a lot of control, which for me, Beishang always does well when he has more control in that jungle matchup. And when you've got like a set that you're going to be able to play relatively well around, and you've also got push in that bottom lane as well, I expect to see Beishang having both the support of Breathe and also the bottom lane to try and help with these invades that he likes to go for. Looking across at Suning, though, again, we're talking about that mid-game kind of spike in composition, but certainly one that can work with a lot of range on this roster. Like, when you've got the Syndra that can set up for these long-range stuns, Ezreal as well that's got the Mystic shots, you can actually use that quite well and around these objectives, try and poke, prod, and even set up for a potential pick off of the Syndra stun.
Yeah, well, we did actually see it's Breathe onto the Akali into the top side with the set going into Mole. So we'll see how this debut goes and the fantastic observing, as we are not going to waste any more of the fantastic viewers' time. It's going to be WE onto the Rift versus... I know, right? WE versus Sunday. My nose is blocked. Leave me alone.
Sorry. I just wanted to be a little bit of a prick, all right? But, hey, look...
A little.
But look, either way, with the Akali going up towards the top side, it's actually the Ignite, and the teleport. So, going to see, I believe, a lot of aggression up here. This is certainly one that Bin early can win, especially when you look for these level 1 trades. As you can see, like, the attack speed you get off that E is very difficult to try and play around. So for Breathe in these early stages, it's about trying to avoid Gwen in this level 1 and making sure she's not able to use that attack speed to stack up Conquer and heavy win these trades.
Well, we're seeing it already as they're jumping onto the Rift. We can see already the bot lane doing the bush wars, as I like to call them, as they just kind of like look for control over this center bush, and just become a little bit more difficult depending on who uses their that kind of like their hook or their stun first. You see them go for actually no hook taken, just go with the shield instead to give them that extra little bit of auto attack. And that's going to be a little bit of a push here. I'm actually curious, if you're wondering who Elk is, who is this random new AD carry in the bot lane, it's Joe Monk. He just decided to change his name. So Joe Monk is still in there.
Sorry, it's not Elk, it's LK. All right, that's the official name we're going with here.
Well,
okay. All right.
It's like when you look at On and you go Snon. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but no, yes, it is still Joe Mung in that bottom lane, just the name change. So the only change we've actually seen on this WE roster is going to be Mo in that mid lane making his debut here. Now, I know for Lyric, he's still super happy about like Mo, but a little bit sad obviously that he's left his home on V5. But this is still a mid laner that is insanely strong, and especially when we talked about how V5 would have Mo work very well with Wei, I think we're going to see a similar story here with Beishang, where Mo is going to be able to control this mid lane and help facilitate Beishang in the way he likes to play that game, which is getting into the opponent's jungle and having a big impact by shutting down his opponent.
We'll see if he's able to make that impact known. As we see now, Beishang, someone, again, we had a lot of stats and a lot of fancy little looking graphics to illustrate all of these different things and talk about who we want to talk about. But Beishang has been, for a while now, the kind of key pivotal player for the side of Team WE, and it very much feels like this roster has been built around with him in mind.
Yeah, he was touted as the best jungler in LPL from spring and also, honestly, from summer 2020. So we kind of have high hopes for this guy. Super smart when it comes towards his path theme, how he can facilitate his laners. And you can see here again, he's already trying to make the action happen, seeing if he can get on towards Huanfeng and on.
See what they want to go for. Mole, though, making his first roam down. Beishang is here. The wave not quite pushed up just yet. The TP, though, going to be committed. And honestly, WE, all they had to do was commit a couple of seconds to roam down, and they get themselves a summoner out of it.
The big thing though is I was actually completely blind, so Suning just reading what WE were trying to do. The other thing as well here is that it does mean Mole hasn't backed yet, so you at least get the back advantage for Angel. Mole will need to find some other time when he can actually get that reset off, because he has gone for the Ghost and the Flash, so not having access to the teleport for the time being.
It's alright, I'm sneezing, you're burping. It's just a disgusting melody.
I had to shove some food into my face really quickly because I realized we're going to be going super long today.
Yeah, I honestly,
I
the first game going to 3, this one could also go to 3.
Yeah.
But at least, as long, actually, you know what? I'm not even going to say it because I'll jinx it. So I'm just going to leave it at that and move on with my life. But yeah, I feel like right now it is going to be very much on to see how SOFM can make this Kindred work as well. Kind of, obviously you said you have a lot of pressure in this early game with this Rumble, but with that, is going to be able to pick up a nice little cheeky mark, as Missing and Mole just weren't really in position, and they're not really able to deny that. And that's the big thing with Kindred. In case you've never seen Kindred before, you've no idea what she does, or they do, as it's 2 characters. They need marks, and that is a, they need things like that up to about 4 just to become an actual champion in the game.
Yeah, exactly. You get the extended range, which is such a big buff to SOFM. It's 75 extra range that you get when you hit those 4 stacks. So definitely wanting to get to that ASAP. But I actually am more curious about what's actually been happening number-wise with the 2 junglers. Because even though we're talking about Rumble has the quicker clear, can actually have a bigger impact, you're going to hold on.
Well, we'll see now. No level 6 just yet, though, for Mole. He's just going to try and put down a little bit more pain onto On, as he backs himself away. So again, WWE trying to be a bit proactive, trying to see if they can catch anyone sleeping, going a little bit too easy or a little bit lazy in their pathing. And I feel like right now, like you mentioned about the teleport earlier, Suning just kind of playing very respectfully.
But the big news here for Suning is, with Beishang wasting all this time, trying to make the bot lane play happen, now trying to make this play again on the bottom side of mid lane happen, you've actually got a big lead opening up for SOFM. He's got the level advantage, he's farming really well, and this is something where, if you are Beishang, you should have just been able to outfarm, but obviously wasting so much time has given a heap to SOFM, where you haven't actually got that back. It's a 400 gold lead in that jungle without even kills going across.
Yeah, the one silver lining for Beishang is, of course, he will be able to pick himself up the dragon, and with the pressure they've now garnered in that bot side and in mid, they should be able to secure the steal onto this blue buff as well. But On might be in a little bit of trouble if he's not careful. Does have to flash away. Mole goes in. There's the showstopper, forces the flash. Sorry, not the flash, the arcane shift and the heal out of Huanfeng, and that's going to be first blood traded quickly back as SOFM picks himself up his first kill. 1-for-1, gold still even.
Yeah, and that was actually, pretty good from Suning as well to react towards that. SOFM, the right place, the right time. It feels like Suning are doing an incredible job of reading what WE want to do. So mid laner for support. You don't actually have Syndra in a position to go and push that mid lane, as it looks like they're trying to hover here to see if they can maybe bait people onto Huanfeng.
Seeing if anything can really happen for it, but difficult enough to try and go onto the Elk right now. He's in a pretty safe position, still has Flash and Cleanse, so not really, and no real pressure around the Dragon as it was just taken, so no real benefit for him going super aggro into that trade. And we've seen him breathe into Bin in that top side. I actually must say that, despite everything and despite the... I actually love this. No more flashes in top lane, only Ignite Teleport. But, you see this quite a bit as well as we see On going in, but when they're able, maybe they go for it. On has no flash, but a good scatter of the week does knock up 2. Mole might be in a little bit of trouble, has no flash available to him, has to use the haymaker to back himself away, but WE just buying time so that they can take this Rift Herald.
Yeah, now they need to skedaddle on out of here. Suning gonna see if they can get it, but On has no access to the ultimate, and as well there's no CC for the Gwen in the top lane, so WE managed to just about eke their way out of that one. So even though we're seeing SOFM is outpacing Beishang when it comes to jungle, the objective's still heavily going in favor of WE.
Yeah, it just seems like a very smart movement here from the side of WE. They move Missing up into mid lane. That covers Mole. They know that they can get that. They've obviously moved Breed down after he shoved the wave. They get the Rift Herald. And yes, they were, getting out jungled in that regard in terms of a pacing. But then as soon as Beishang put his mind to the global objectives, he was like, all right, I'm on this one now. So just able to make such, smart macro moves here from the side of WE. And it's good to see them starting off as brightly in game 1.
Yeah, I'm curious to see now where Beishang wants to try and use this, because there is an argument for trying to get up towards Breathe in the top lane. Of course, getting the Akali ahead means that you've got a lot of backline threat, but Akali also going to kind of struggle to have that backline threat in this game just because you've got a Kindred who's going to be able to put down the Lamb's Respite. Arcane shifts from Ezreal make it a little bit hard to get access to Huanfeng as well, so could actually end up just going down towards Elk in this bottom lane and trying to make sure that you can get this Kais into a position where she has great front to back fight, but also that assassination potential to synergize if Breathe goes in aggressively.
Well, we might see a fight over the scuttle, as it is one of the marks for SOFM. He's on 3, so this would make it 4. If he's able to make that one. Is level 7, has access to the Lamb's Respite as well. Needs to be very careful though. A lot of isolation damage when you get hit by the Acathian Rain. And that is going to be a simple little takeaway there for the side of WE. They delay the Kindred spike just a little bit longer.
Yeah, and that's pretty big, just being able to shut these down. Now, SOFM, of course, should still be able to find that fairly soon. The fact he's 3 already is still fantastic for him, but maybe top side. Sorry, just watching it, Bin was going to go very aggressive there to Breathe, but you can see, looking at where Beishang and Mole are, they want to see if they can catch Bin before he pushes this in, but not quite able to.
Does look like when she pops down her W that it's like a big like clown circus kind of thing. I say a clown circus, a circus. Oh, as I say that now, SOFM. Maybe he's going to try and find Missing here, as they're going to let Elk go away, and now Missing in a little bit of trouble. Going to pop down the dredge line to see if he can get away. Good flash, and should be able to keep himself safe, but a summoner burned is a summoner gained for the side of Suning.
Yeah, but there's going to be a Rift Herald plunking down in the mid lane, it looks like, fairly soon. Going to see if they can try and get a few more of those plates. Actually, as Beishang maybe doesn't want to try and commit to this. Like, I think WE here, like, they need to try and make some sort of play happen, because Suning are very slowly but surely just, you know, playing at the map, getting some plays in their favor, as now SOFM just hops over the wall. But yeah, for Suning, like, you're waiting for these item spikes to come online, right? We talked about Ezreal, Divine Sunder so far today. You're also waiting for like Kindred to get through, the Kraken Slayer, and these kind of things where SOFM actually becomes quite relevant. But at the moment, they haven't really been put under much threat at all. So I think for WE, who we already talked about, like, spike off of this mid game, spike off of, you know, the one item spikes from the Gale's Force for Elk, Mole getting his own his Stride Breaker completed. Like, we're not really seeing those come through or trying to make these plays work when they're strong.
Yeah, it feels like a little bit of a delay there, just making sure kind of, you know, they're doing it and the 100% exactly what they can do. There is a ping there straight onto the jungler, so they know that this is a second dragon pretty damn easily for the side of WE, and this is a quick kind of turnaround for them as well. They are on point with these global objectives, and we see On getting jumped on, might be in a little bit of trouble, forced to flash away. So now neither support has themselves any kind of flash to get themselves out. No Hex Flash available either because of the bug. So Rift Herald gets dropped into the bot lane. We're going to see if Elk can try and guide this one in, but with the minions there, actually, it might be a little bit harder for them than they think.
Yeah, it was a bit of a panic put down because it was about to time out, and they may not even get it in underneath the turret. Now just about in there to go for the dive.
Oh, there's the Rift Herald dead, and the Equalizer there to try and stop it, but not able to make it work. So yes, they got the Rift Herald, but it didn't amount to anything, so you got 100 gold. Well done, you. That's all it is.
Yeah, and look, when we're looking at this game, right, you can tell, as we already talked about, like, the 1 to 2 item spikes for WE are phenomenal, but as you start to kind of press past that, you're going to have Bin, who's going to be really good on this Gwen, you're going to have SOFM, who starts to come online as the secondary damage, or well, tertiary, third damage dealer. It looks really good when you get to that point, but you need to just try and buy time. The fact that WE, yes, they're getting these dragons, which means you're going to have an opportunity to fight against Suning, but stuff like that Rift Herald not being able to collapse, where you could have used it mid, and these kind of things are going to cause issues, as Mole misses the face breaker, but not going to amount too much.
Misses a little bit of his combination, but, you know, is pretty safe. This is why we see such priority onto set, why it's pick or ban usually first, or, you know, kind of like definitely set up, because it can just go into so many matchups and just be pretty damn safe. Yes, he's a little bit behind in CS, but nothing too untoward, if you know. And becomes an incredible engage tool later on, and with the absence of Hex Flash, it almost is nigh impossible to make set work in support role anymore. So you need that Stride Breaker, you need that extra little bit of gap closer, especially when your flash is down.
Well, it looks like we're in for 2 slow series here today, Penguin. because nobody really wants to try and make any moves. Now, as we said, Suning, this is kind of their bread and butter, right? It's been take these very, very slow early games. We usually see SOFM trying to put some pressure towards Bin in that top side of the map, as Bin has kind of stood out as the standout player for Suning, especially in their early games. But in this game, SOFM is just happy to try and keep this farm going for himself. Even though he's in a matchup where he can't farm as quickly, he's actually been doing quite well. Now, the gold is even up for the Kindred, but still, I think as Suning, they're kind of happy to just take this at the slower pace. Whereas for WEs, we already kind of mentioned, they're the ones that want to try and make things happen. And Mole realizes that, trying to see if he can make a potential play towards Bin on the top side while the Rift Herald has started.
Yeah, I just feel like Beishang, you know, despite SOFM obviously having that kill and being a little bit further ahead in terms of the camps, or was further ahead in the camps for a while, it does feel like Beishang's kind of kicked it up a gear and just being able to kind of really abuse the fact that Rumble just straight up clears camps so much faster. He's just able to move around the map faster. He's of course got the speed boost on his W. He's just able to go into the overheat, so he never really needs sustain. He's just got so much at his disposal. And now, with them taking the second Rift Herald, I would love to see WE actually use this in some kind of way.
Yeah, it would be pretty nice, but as we said, like, the reason that we saw Beishang fall behind early was because he was trying to make these aggressive plays to see if he could influence the lanes, but fortunately it wasn't working out for him, and now we gotta go back to, okay, well, I'm just gonna hard farm, absolutely, completely destroy this Kindred when it comes towards our jungle clear, and then see if we can actually get ourselves into a position where we're strong, because right now, like, with the items that are completed on the bottom 4 of the map for WE, they can take on Suning so damn easily. Strikebreaker, Gale Force, the Night Harvester as well. These team fights, especially at this Dragon in a minute, are going to be insanely strong for WE. It's going to be a case of Suning. Can they find a pick with SOFM and Angel or even on beforehand so they're not actually fighting on an even footing?
There's so much you got to be careful of as well if you're Huanfeng or even Angel in this fight. Is, you know, you've got breathing down your neck. You've got the, you know, the set going in. If you put yourself in a bad position up a, you know, a chokehold after using your escapes, you're going to have the equalizer down on you as well. There's just so many things that can go wrong if you're not careful enough. And speaking about not being careful enough, Paul might be caught out, and he is. Mole just gets dropped straight up. Just good vision control there from Suning.
Hey, and we said we wanted to see a pick before Dragon. There you go. Mole dead. Now they get full control here. They're actually going to pressure onto the mid lane, but they should be able to get themselves this next Dragon and shut down the potential for WE to get to that soul point.
Mole will just spawn as the Dragon spawns, so you can see now Breed not even contesting it, not even looking at it right now. Looks like he wants to go towards that top side instead and see if he can make anything happen against the Gwen. But again, not a great moment there for Mole, and you know, these are the kind of small little things. He is the 2 deaths at the moment in the favor on the side of WE, and stopping that count, stopping the Dragons from stacking is a big enough deal for the side of, you know, WE. They can't let Suning stack up to 2-3 Mountain Drakes because it just mitigates so much of the damage.
And again, we're still waiting to see where this Rift Herald is going to be used to, because although we're talking about Suning potentially stacking these Dragons, it definitely feels like WE now wants to try and put pressure with this. Mid is going to be the call.
Well, they're going to jump in straight away. Goo have the Lamb's Respite to keep everyone safe for just as long as possible. SOFM jumps over the wall. You can see Breed following over with the killer, or excuse me, with the Akali ultimate. The perfect execution, not so perfect, does not pick himself up a kill. Bin is here, but not really able to make anything happen with the needlework, but now gets caught out. There's so much CC with this Nautilus, and he goes golden. The W is almost an absolute fail of the week, but it ends up being all right. They do end up trading 1 for 2, and that's a little bit of a nicer trade there for WE.
That's going to be massive for WE's. One thing you can see now, gets this mid lane, pushes well going for Suning, but yeah, WE going to be happy that they're getting something back in their favor with that mid lane turret going down and the kills as well. It was starting to look a little bit shaky, but certainly with Elk getting these 3 kills, now you've got a front to back fight that you could opt in towards. You can also use Elk in the assassination attempts when it comes towards the Killer Instinct. These are like the perfect person for these kills to be going on to, and we're going to get a replay of it here. SOFM does a great job of keeping on alive for so long, buying time for Bin and also for for Angel to get to this mid lane. Breed goes a little bit too deep, not able to find anything onto SOFM, but when the boys arrive here into the mid lane, Bin and Angel, Bin goes one way, doesn't get the call that they're going back to try and pick off the other 2 members of WE that are still in mid lane, and he ends up completely separated from the team. You can see he survives incredibly long because of the needlework and because of the passive with the sustain, but it's still not enough.
Hey, good job, Beishong. Use the Rift Hell, let Shelly get her charge off that turret. It's on 1 HP, it's dead, don't be worried.
I know.
But with that gold now, like you mentioned, the 3 kills going over to Elk, he's got a collector, he's on 2 items, and then as you're a Kaiser, you mentioned this front to back kind of team fight, or even just being able to assassinate people with a dive, you have so much more power now at your disposal with WE. On Suning, however, you've got yourself pretty much first items across the board. You are scaling with the Gwen and of course the Ezreal. We are going to see the Equalizer have to be utilized into that mid lane, but I don't know if it's going to be enough just yet.
No, they will be able to clear out the wave, keep that mid lane tower safe. Now, again, you got Breathe on this bottom side. He'll be able to answer for that push in mid from Suning to actually take this bot lane turret. So now you're answering up for WE, and this is a pretty big win. You can see they're starting to eke out a little bit more of a gold lead, about 3.5k, or certainly 2.5k for them there, as SOFM.
No, he's dead. Yup, blink and you miss it. He's dead off the dead. Absolutely no questions whatsoever. And that could mean a Baron. That could be a Baron. You don't have a teleport for Breed, but he doesn't really need to be there. He's not going to be doing the most damage to this objective. But a good scout of the week here from Angel will maybe dissuade it. No, they're just going to go straight on it. This could be a little dangerous.
Yeah, taking a lot of damage here from Suning, and again, this is where that poke that we were talking about from Suning can do so much work. It is 20 minutes, you take a lot of damage from this Baron.
4,000 HP, you got 2 people still in the pit, Mole is there, they're going to drop down the Equalizer, they're going to try and go for this fight straight away, and it's just the perfect combination, Set and Rumble, name a better duo, I'll wait, and Akali able to do so much work on the backside, gets the perfect execution as well to get out. It does delay the Baron, but it's a great little bit of gold injected back into WE's pockets.
A 4,500 gold lead just like that. And again, you can see great flank coming through from Breed, shuts down Guanfeng, Elk getting even more kills in his back pocket. Hell, you don't care about the Baron. If you're getting this much gold, you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to take it at a later stage. So WE playing this so damn well.
Really are. Let's have a replay here. Exactly going to go for it. They just turn. You can see Mole just instantly sees the Equalizer and knows that's who he needs to go for.
Yeah, and again, that combo that you're talking about, Face Breaker, on towards Angel, means that they just don't have the survivability. Breathe destroys Guanfeng. Without SOFM there to keep him safe, you can see this Akali has so much threat on towards Guanfeng. And now, Suning pushed back, Dragon, 15 seconds. You've got a lot of these spells still waiting to come up for WE, but they should be up just before that dragon spawns.
This is a far and away departure from WE we saw play against that Suning in that, oh, never mind, I'm going to stop myself right there as Bing gets caught, face breakered, and showstoppered right back into the team. And they're going to get themselves caught out. They don't think they can contest for this dragon, but they kind of just need to do something else, need to back away. As even though, look at all those wards, look at all those zombie wards just scattered around the place, they still can't go anywhere near it. And that's going to be sole point here for Team WE.
And WE now, they've shut down everything that Suning have wanted to do. It was looking like maybe Suning would be able to mount some sort of offense, but looking for a pick, missed onto Suning.
Yeah, they don't quite get it, and WE still keeping themselves safe. 5-0-2 onto Elk. This Jomung rename has definitely been working out for him so far. And what I was about to say before they got the pick onto SOFM, or excuse me, onto Bin, it definitely feels like this is a much better squad from Team WE that we even saw from last play in the playoffs. Like, they went 0-3 against Suning. Suning kind of clapped them. Let's call a spade a spade. Like, it wasn't really that close at all, even in the 3-0. And this feels like, WE have come back, seen their weaknesses, made a couple of upgrades, and coming into summer, they want to be higher up in that table.
And they're doing an amazing job of it. Like, you can see with Mo coming into the mid lane, adding a bit more stability there. He's made some great plays here in these team fights to actually get the picks that they need. Working super well with Beishong to get the damage off with the Equalizer. This is what we were hoping Mo would be able to bring to the roster. And especially with a leveled up WE, it feels like Suning just don't have anything in the tank to try and fight against them.
Suning lacking in that department as of the moment, but still plenty of games still left to be played. You got 3.5 minutes until that Mountain Soul point does spawn up. Team WE looking to try and get that one with Earth, Wind, and Fire all up on the top left. So do they remember September? We'll see if they can get there. As we'll wait and see what Suning can do. But I actually really want to go back to a point you made, and I think it's testament to kind of how much they rely on this player. Bin is 0-2. Bin didn't get a huge amount of resources from SOFM up into that top side, and we talked about how important it is for Suning's game plan to get resources into Bin early so he can be that big massive threat in the mid to late game. He just didn't get it this time, and he's kind of been a bit invisible.
Yeah, now he still needs a third item to really become relevant as well. Like, he's waiting on that Nashor's Tooth, and when you get to that stage, sure, he can try and become a split push threat, but when you're already behind in the game, trying to mount a split push from behind becomes incredibly difficult. You need to try and hope that WE makes some sort of mistake that you can punish, or you can pick somebody off. Now, Suning definitely has the tools to look for picks here. Like, we've seen it already where they got the pick onto Mole earlier on, but WE can see aren't really giving them that opportunity. They shove outside lanes, they instantly group, they're just making it so hard for Suning to find those windows.
Yeah, oh, here we go. Equalizer down, flash forward. Angel has to flash in return, so support flash for mid flash. You take that any day of the week. But Mo has found himself on the backside. He was seen, so they know he's here. There is the showstopper to start it all off. They're going to see the solo flare to try and keep on alive. He flashes back over towards that blue buff. There is the Lamb's Respite to keep this Lamb and Wolf alive. We're going to see the perfect execution just a little bit too early, so he doesn't quite get it, but it's a 2 for 2 at the moment. You still have Bin, you still have Guanfong, and WE have to run.
Yeah, you can see Suning just about able to come out on top. SOFM stays alive just long enough, and that Lamb's Respite keeping Breathe at bay, but still, WE, they're okay, they're still in position, there's still a minute and a half until this dragon, but a lot of those key summoner spells were used. Flash, Mole, Elk, Beishong, hell, even Missing as well. It means that when you get towards this next fight, it becomes a lot more difficult to get onto these key targets like Guanfong, like Angel, to shut down the play, but WE, they're just going for the Baron, they don't care about the dragon.
They're going for the Baron because they know SOFM is not open for another 2 seconds. And you can see there, Huanfeng going for the damage, but On is there. On is going to be caught out. The Equalizer to try and stop any kind of backup. They get the TP out of Angel as well. And now Breathe on this backside, trying to see if he can keep Bin away. I think the call right now from WE is to reset, get back on the map, and look for the soul point.
Yeah, 50 seconds until that one is available, so should be all there. Equalizer will be back up because it's the shortest cooldown in the history of cooldowns. But either way, we're going to look at this replay here. Like, this was great play from Mole. Manages to get the Stride Breaker into position for the ult on, but Bin keeps himself safe thanks to Hollowed Mist. And at this stage, it's kind of all a bit messy. Like, Suning have already reset themselves where there's no threat onto Guanfong, no threat onto Angel, and when you mess up the perfect execution as Breathe, you're just doomed to go down there against everything that Suning have to offer.
Yeah, well, it is WE who are first on the scene here in the river, and they've got themselves vision control as well. Bin trying to do his very best, but there's the hook down on top of SOFM, who might have to use the Lamb's Respite. He doesn't even get a chance to use it. Massive haymaker, right uppercut to the chin, and that's going to be 2 quick kills. WE taking Soul Point, looking like WE going to be taking game 1.
And that might be the knockout punch right there. When you got this soul point for the Mountain Dragon as well, it becomes incredibly difficult for Suning to try and get through you. And now they're in prime position to start to push in. They can even turn over towards the Baron. Like, Suning, unfortunately, just could not keep WE at bay. Missing. We're going to ignore that. It's all fine. Nothing to see here, folks. Move it along.
He's got a Zhonya's. He's got a fully completed Zhonya's, so, it's fine. It's fine. He'll get it back. It wasn't just a stopwatch, so...
Yeah.
But,
well, look,
yeah.
You know what the comms are like, right? They're just laughing back and forth. You're like, how are you going to get away from that if that hook connected? You just had to show them, It was like, just do this.
Yeah, I'm a visual learner. Show me how you would Zhonya's. All right, cool. That's how he does it. Well, Baron goes down. Mountain Soul in the back pocket as well for Team WE. We're going to see Bin trying to scrape as much gold into his back pocket and his team's back pocket as they possibly can. 9-0-2 onto Elk. He is almost almost full build, literally waiting on an Infinity Edge to finish it all off. Mole, you're in no man's land, my dude. You need to back yourself away. You need to leave here right now, because On and SOFM are here. And he has got himself his ultimate, but look how tanky he is. He's pure HP, and they just can't rip through him.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're committing 2 people up top, it opens up the rest of the map for WE. So they shove in mid with this Baron buff. Look at Breeze in the bot lane. He's starting to get that under control. So if Mole is just able to tank 2 people at once, WE are going to have a fun old time when it comes to this Baron buff.
Also, as well as that, look at SOFM's build. He went with Umbral Glaive, and that, yes, great for checking out wards, great for checking out wards, great for, you know, kind of running around the map and makes your vision. In terms of raw stats and damage, nothing. Absolutely nada in terms of what it will be giving you. It's a very cheap item.
And his builds. SOFM and his builds, man. I don't get it. Like, in this game, right, yeah, sure, there's not many people building armor, yes, but I still think just going your traditional build where you go towards something like a Phantom Dancer and start to move in towards actually like having a heap more crit damage and become that late game carry would have worked out far better here, but either way, doesn't matter. What's done is done, and it might be done for Suning here. His hook does go wide, but the equalizer will force Suning off of the turret.
Yeah, there's Ben and Jerry in the tanks there, just trying to do as much damage as possible. SOFM underneath the tower, out of the ring with you. This is a wrestling match, and he ends up being killed. Mole with the showstopper to end it all off. It was WrestleMania there in the mid lane, as we can see now. With that Lamb's Respite, with the lack of a jungler, you have no way to defend this bot lane turret. You have no way to defend this mid tier 2, and you might be in a hell of a lot of trouble as well once they hit your inhibitor in mid lane.
Yeah, this is going to be it. WE now pushing in. Equalizer up again to force them off the tower. It's so stupid, but it doesn't matter.
Look how quick it is. Look how quick it goes.
I know.
Look at the cooldown. It's actually disgusting.
It really is. I mean, there's a reason why you can just toss it out for wave clear. There's very few champions that can do that, but Rumble definitely one of them.
Yep, he is going to be feeling pretty good about himself right now. Beishong having a nice L time. 1-0-10 has definitely enabled his team, has stacked the dragons early, has been on top of the objectives. And for Suning, I feel like unless there's a miracle fight happening in the next while, which in fairness, you do have 3 items onto your Ezreal. You will have 3 items now onto your Syndra and your Gwen as well. So there is opportunities to do it. It's not a 100% done deal for WE, but like, you need a bit more kind of, you know, proactivity. I feel like it was all WE this game and Suning reacting to them.
Yeah, and I mean, look, to give them their due, from the get-go, they were doing a pretty good job of, you know, playing against what WE were trying to do, SOFM spotting out where Beishong was going, but it did get to a stage where WE were just like, hang on, we're just going to farm it up and get to a point where our team fights are stronger. We already have these dragons in under our belts. And at that stage, it was kind of done and dusted for Suning. Now, you can see that WE are starting to progress onto this last remaining outer tower. And what do you do with Suning? Your time's out. The clock's done.
Yeah, the clock is over, and Witzing, that's how he was using his Zhonya's. He just wanted to show you for a future time, and there's the showstopper on top of the equalizer. On is a tanky boy, but not that tanky, and they are going to be able to take him out. Now it's 5v4 with the midwave, the midwave and the bot wave now crashing in the next few minutes. Minute and a half until that Elder Drake spawns, 2 minutes until Baron. They know you're there, lads. Unfortunately, that pink ward does not see the ward right on the corner of everything, as Mole might be in a little bit of trouble.
Oh, Missing.
Say that Missing's in a little bit of trouble. Misses his hook and gets caught out. We can see now Bin jumping in, trying to see if he can catch out Mole himself. Actually uses Mole as a vessel and gets the Ignite as well. 2 quick kills going over to Suning, and this is why I said it wasn't 100% that WE win.
There's 40 seconds now until Mole is up. Same with 30 seconds for Missing. You don't have enough time to walk from base to the dragon. This gives Suning full control around that Elder Dragon area. Like, that is a big win, and we talked about it, like, as soon as Bin finishes that Nashor's Tooth, he is insanely strong, and you see it there. Just completed that item. First bite rips through these health bars. Now, unfortunately for Missing, massive mistake here. SOFM half baits him into going for the hook as he walks out of the base, but because it's the base gate, Missing does get dragged to it, and that's the goal. But watch the damage here from Bin. It is insane, and that's onto Mole, like the tankiest member of this WE roster.
Well, 20 seconds till that spawns. You've got about 15 seconds now is set to absolutely sprint. Luckily for him, he has Ghost, so if he does need to get faster, he will be able to do it. Has picked up a plethora of wards as well, and we have the Infinity Edge finish for Elk. Elk in a back line will just melt. You can see there W onto Angel just chunks him down to about a 3/4 HP. As I sneeze very quickly off to the side. But the big problem right now for the side of Suning is they still have inhibitors down. Look at the bot lane. Thank you very much, observers, showing down. And Mole is here. Mole is looking for the flank, and Suning are looking to burn down this Drake.
There he goes.
There he is, Showstopper in. They're going to drop down the Equalizer as well. There's no one really on it, though, as of right now. Now Mole taking a hell of a lot of punishment. Pop Wave is pushing in. 4,000 HP, 3,000 HP. Can they go for it? They're going to try and get a smite fight in. It's going to be Kindred, and now this fight can go very much firmly in favor of Suning. Everyone from WE needs to get themselves into that Lamb's Respite, but it's not enough. There's just not enough there in the tank. The Elder Drake is just too damn powerful. As I say that, Elk gets himself out and finds himself a kill. He's burning, he's ticking. One more another auto attack will do it. One Mystic shot, and he's not going to be able to take it. Oh, he's still alive. He's still going. No, not quite able to survive, but he still gets himself a kill. The base is going to be in tatters. Breathe is here on top of On, though. They're just trying to get all these Elder Drakes. This has all of a sudden gone from perfect to terrible. It'll be a 4v4 at the end of it, and it's Suning who end up losing all of their Elder Drakes.
And the thing is, because WE died first, they'll actually be the first ones that can get over to this Baron. Now, SOFM will be up, Beishang will not, so may not be able to fully commit to it, but you can see the pings are going down. They want to get vision, they want to turn towards this next objective, and with Bin the only one with this Elder Dragon remaining, that was an insane fight. You can see it here, right? Everyone hard forcing into the pit, knowing that they just want to, one, for WE delay as much as they can, and two, for Suning, this is the miracle play. This is how they bring this game back, and just that one miss smite going through, not quite enough. SOFM holds on to his, and then we get the longest, most tense Lamb's Respite I think I have ever seen, with everyone knowing that the second this is done, it's just the roulette as to who's going to go down. But Elk played this magnificently, dodges away from so many things, gets the kill onto Huanfeng before it goes down, and even sets up for Beishang to finish off with the Equalizer as well. That was beautiful play from Elk to help make sure that WE could stay in this game.
Yeah, as you said, Bin, the only one left with the Elder Drake buff. It's only got 30 seconds of that or so left on it, so it's going to be on him to put down that extra little bit of damage. Has got his Zhonya's now and is very much on his way to being full items, but you can't really go for this Baron right now because, like you see right now, Beishang, Breathe, and of course Mole will just run down the mid lane and take the inhibitors. So yeah, you'll get the Baron buff, but you'll lose the bigger objective as SOFM. Ooh, Breathe, not able to land the Shuriken flip.
Ooh, Elk trading aggressively here onto Bin, but big thing for Suning is inhibitors have respawned. So they're not under anywhere near as much pressure as the Equalizer.
Just doing a little
bit of they're just trying to run it down. They're trying to see if they can hard force through mid.
Yeah, they're trying to see it, but as soon as Breed shows himself in that mid wave that was up against the inhibitor, he knows they would be in a lot of trouble. There's no Elder Drake buff left, so now this is even footing. There's only the items and golds you have in your back pocket. On
Equalizer
down to
halfway
half
off
HP.
cooldown.
Equalizer will be back in about 10 seconds. And so now WE, they know they're stronger. They know that Suning haven't got the position, and they also know that Suning now aren't willing to go for that Baron commit. Now the inhibitor is going to drop. They're going to get both of these back down, and it's back to advantage to WE.
WE need to try and exit out stage right, though, although they're looking for the fight.
Oh, there's the Equalizer down onto SOFM, who has to pop down the Lamb's Respite. They're going to try and bring everybody out top of this. On is dead, so is the Kindred. It's 1 kill, it's 2, it's 3, it might be 4. And this is almost certainly going to be the entire game going over in favor of WE. They'll take themselves a 1-0 advantage into this best of 3 versus Suning.
Huanfeng needs to be the one-man army, almost at the full build, but this is going to be too much. Elk is looking for Huanfeng as the Nexus will go down.
Nexus falls. WE find themselves the advantage in this series. They are 1 game away from a perfect start to their LPL Summer 2021 split.
And what a performance from WE. A slow to start game, but when WE got control, they did not let the ball stop. Mole looking absolutely fantastic on this set pick, setting up so incredibly well for the likes of Beishang on this Rumble. Elk as well, like MVP performance right there. That last fight, well, that last Elder Dragon fight where he managed to dog Dutch dip dive and dodge his way through everything there to actually pick up the kill and make sure he was able to bring that back so Suning just couldn't close out with that Elder Dragon buff. Amazing stuff coming through from Elk, and definitely the name change seeming like he's kind of cast off a lot of the issues that he had last split.
Yeah, honestly, feels like a new chapter for him and for WE. This was, again, similar to our first series of the day. It is a litmus test. It's a temperature check to see how much can you go against it. These are literally the guys who smashed you in playoffs in spring. How good have you gotten since then? Turns out, quite a bit better, and they are looking to try and to take revenge into this and to start their split off on the right foot.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely a step in the right direction for WE. Like, one of the big issues that I had with WE was looking towards Shanks. Yes, his early laning phase, we're talking levels like 1 to 4 or 5, would be pretty strong, but once we start to get past that, some mistakes would start to creep into his play. Team fighting as well ended up being pretty hit or miss, quite coin flippy, and you needed a little bit more stability there. So with adding Mole into the roster, it feels like they've really plugged a big hole for them, and now they can still continue to look towards Elk to be that big damage dealer like we saw in spring.
Well, Elk was the big damage dealer, and Elk was the MVP from game 1. No real surprise there. The man was just a monster.
Yeah, the guy was absolutely insane, and honestly, no surprises. You can see the damage dealt 29.7%, but honestly, that's actually the average of Elk from spring. This guy is a monster when it comes towards WE. 14-1-4. You can see just how big of an impact he had. These team fights were so clean when it came towards Elk and piloting this Kai'Sa.
Yeah, and I'm going to sneeze in about a few seconds, but I'm going to tell
you.
All
right, I'm going to take it. I'll take it.
You
Don't
take
worry.
it. You take it.
You go mute. I'm going to enjoy it as my little camera in the bottom right corner that I can see on. But either way, I do agree. I think for Elk, it's good to see him kind of back to having a strong bottom lane, which he's able to go against people like Quan Feng and on. Because I think a lot of players were kind of looking at what Elk was capable of, but also his companion in that bottom lane, Missing hadn't really had the performance that we were expecting from him in spring 2021. So the fact that we're actually seeing Missing and Elk certainly take a step up, I think says a lot about what we can expect from WE going forward. And I know for people like Munch, he is very much excited for this WE roster, so the fact that they are coming out and beating teams like Suning is probably a bit bittersweet for him, but he's going to be very happy with it. Bless you.
I just had an entire fit of sneezing. On that note, we're going to send it to a quick break so I can blow my nose.
Yeah.
On that bombshell, we'll be back very, very shortly with the start of Game 2 between Suning and Team WE.